it looks like I'm being cooked in a pot. I have taken 3 different pictures on manual mode in my camera. This picture was taken with the camera on a tripod to make them perfectly in line with each other. So I selected all of them to edit, auto align layers. See that it's now aligned perfectly. Just grabbed my rectangular marquee tool, made a selection, and cropped the edges out. That I'm clicking image crop. So let's start off by making a layer mask on the hands. Just delete everything except my fingers here. So I'm going to grab the pen tool. I'm just going to make a selection. Make sure that I do not need to mask in perfectly the bottom of my fingers to where my first point was. But now we need to make a selection out of this path. So let's right click and click make selection. Feather this by about 0.3 pixels in this situation. And then we just make a layer mask, like a new layer mask. It automatically makes a layer mask out of our selection. There's hands boiling in the pot now. So now let's add the head. What we want to do is mask in my head and mask everything out that's not my head. So I'm gonna just try duplicating this layer mask and putting it up on the top layer right here and see how that works. It's gonna hold down my Alt key, click the layer mask, and then drag it back up. But I want the opposite of this. Press Control I, and that inverted the layer mask. Mask in the pot back in. I'm just gonna grab a brush here, paint the pot back in. And now you can see here, look at this. The exposure of one of the pictures was just slightly brighter than the other one. And you can actually see that there's a line here. You want to make it look like real and like it wasn't photoshopped. Grab a soft brush, hard edges. So now we can just fade in that area. But now we have duplicate pots here. I'm just going to grab my brush and just mask out this duplicate pot. We're going to go to Layer, Flatten Image, Create New Layer button. And we're going to add some steam just kind of coming up from the pot. Grab a color, make it white, grab my brush tool, put the hardness around, I don't know, set 80%. It doesn't matter too much, 100 pixels. So I'm just going to draw the steam here. And we're going to make this look real in a second. So let's go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. I'm going to go back and do that over again. And I need to make them a little bit smaller. Kind of spread them out and make it more random. Actually lower the opacity to about 50% for right now, and we can adjust it later. So back to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and let's see how that turns out. Oh yes, that's perfect. That's what I wanted. You can go back to the opacity and adjust it how you like it. I have the opacity on 30% here, so the steam is not very noticeable, and it wouldn't be in real life either. That's the thing that I love to do with Photoshop, is to make it as real as possible.